So I grew up at camps, and in regards to who I am as a person, and especially how I function as a pastor and how I've learned to lead and try to engage in ministry, I'm really shaped by that experience at camps. And one year in particular, during a training for summer staff leadership, we had this long conversation around how we wanted to live in a place that had a culture of grace, which was defined to me as a place where we just give each other the benefit of the doubt, right? But when there was conflict, not if, but when there was conflict, we would want to extend grace towards one another, presuming we're all trying to do what's best, even when we bump into each other. And I have to say, I've thought about that nearly every day of COVID. It can be all too easy in this context to dismiss or demonize those people on the other side of the issue. We presume all too easily that because we think they are making the wrong decision or choice, and suddenly they're just plain wrong. And it's become more and more evident to me that if we as a church are going to live into our calling, that everyone can come to know the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ by making disciples who make disciples, that begins with grace. Here's where we find ourselves. The number of positive COVID cases has taken a steep rise in the last few weeks and months, especially amongst those who are not vaccinated, including children under 12 who cannot get vaccinated. We all know what this means. We've all heard the recommendations by different governmental bodies at this stage, and in a way that feels typical for a congregation of our diverse opinions like we have, we don't always agree about exactly what to do. And honestly, that's okay, as long as we can do it within a culture of grace. I'm reminded of the words of Ephesians 4:32, that call us to be compassionate and gracious to one another, and that just feels deeply relevant. As a church leadership team, we are going to trust you to make the right decisions in this moment. Some of us will listen and follow the advice of our government officials, some of us will not. It doesn't make those who choose the other side foolish or wrong. It calls us to extend grace towards one another. We're all going in the same direction. And look, if we're all doing the same thing, our hope is that we can be united in the Spirit of Christ, right? And not divided over our present scenarios. There will always be something to be divided about, right? When masks have come and gone, it will be politics or policies or some other hot take of the day. But if we live in a culture of grace, that question allows us to live with others even when we disagree with them. And that presents a challenge to us, right? It calls for something. Will we be people who choose uniformity where everyone agrees with me? Or will we be people of unity where we are joined together despite our differences? And I have faith that we can choose unity and be a united people. We're better for our disagreement and diversity, but only if we can do it within a culture of grace. And so that is the challenge before us today. So friends, grace and peace to you this day and this week as we live and build and spend time in a culture of grace, both here at church and in our communities and in the broader places around. Grace and peace, friends. Have a good week.